Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs try again to get him freed on bail. Lawyers for hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs will appear in court on Wednesday to challenge a judge's ruling that denied Mr. Combs bail after he pleaded not guilty in a sex trafficking case. A New York federal judge remanded the musician in custody on Tuesday after prosecutors argued he was a serious flight risk. Mr. Combs, 54, was arrested on Monday evening, accused of running a criminal enterprise from at least 2008 that relied on drugs and violence to force women to fulfill his sexual desires, according to prosecutors. A 14-page indictment charges him with racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and transportation to engage in prostitution. If convicted on all three counts, the rapper and record producer faces a sentence of 15 years up to life in prison. He was wearing a black t-shirt and gray sweatpants during Tuesday's court appearance in Manhattan. Asked by U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Tarnofsky how he wished to plead, Mr. Combs stood up and said, "Not guilty." Mr. Combs's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, said afterwards that the musician's defense team already had launched an appeal of the judge's bail decision. "We believe him wholeheartedly," Mr. Agnifilo told reporters outside the Manhattan court. "He didn't do these things." According to court documents, Mr. Combs wielded the power of his status to lure female victims to engage in extended sex acts, called freak-offs. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant, the indictment said. In a news briefing, U.S. Prosecutor Damian Williams said officials found firearms, ammunition, and more than 1,000 bottles of lubricant during raids on Mr. Combs's homes in Miami and Los Angeles about 6 months ago. Mr. Williams said federal agents also found 3 semi-automatic rifles with defaced serial numbers and a drum magazine. He told reporters that further charges were possible, without offering details. Mr. Agnifilo, the musician's lawyer, maintained, "There's no coercion and no crime. He's not afraid of the charges," he said, adding that he believed Mr. Combs was the target of an unjust prosecution. In court documents, federal prosecutors said that Mr. Combs had abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Prosecutors accuse Mr. Combs of creating a criminal enterprise whose members, under his direction, engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, and bribery. On numerous occasions, the document said, Mr. Combs assaulted women by striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. The indictment did not specify how many women were alleged victims. It also does not accuse Mr. Combs himself of engaging directly in unwanted sexual acts with women. The Bad Boy Records founder, who was also known during his career as P. Diddy and Puff Daddy, has faced many of the accusations before. Last November, his ex-girlfriend, singer Cassandra Elizabeth Ventura, filed a civil lawsuit against him that included graphic descriptions of violent abuse. He denied the accusations, but settled the case a day after it was filed. In May, Mr. Combs released a public apology after video footage from a Los Angeles hotel appeared to show him beating Ms. Ventura in a hallway. Tuesday's indictment against Mr. Combs accuses him of similar violence. Ms. Ventura's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, declined to comment on Mr. Combs's arrest. The indictment follows a string of sexual assault allegations against Mr. Combs, one of the most successful music moguls in the history of rap. 4 women, including Ms. Ventura, have filed lawsuits accusing him of sexual and physical abuse. In a statement issued last December, Mr. Combs defended himself against what he described as sickening allegations made by individuals looking for a quick payday. In June, he returned a ceremonial key to the city of New York, following a request from Mayor Eric Adams, who had bestowed the honor on him just 9 months beforehand. Days later, Howard University announced it was revoking Mr. Combs's 2014 honorary degree. The musician is credited with helping turn rappers and R&B singers such as Usher, Mary J. Blige, and Notorious B.I.G. into stars in the 1990s and 2000s.